Hi there, I'm Peter Millard and this is 10 Minute Workshop, where 10 minutes in the workshop is never enough, it's never 10 minutes, and it's never 10 minutes wasted. In this week's short video, I'm going to be finally reaching a decision about which of these bandsaws is the keeper and which one goes to the bandsaw boneyard. What's coming up next? So let's cut to the chase. I'm keeping the Titan. The Aldi is an absolute champ. It is a fantastic starter bandsaw for 80 quid or less. It is just extraordinarily good value for money. You can take this home, sort of grit your teeth against the squeaky sound that the polystyrene packing makes, bolt the table on, square it up to the fence, and you're up and running. You're off and cutting. Great value. It's done everything I've asked of it over the last 6 or 7 months. As an introduction to bandsaw ownership, you couldn't ask for more, really, especially even if you get it for even cheaper than the £80. I know some people have said they've had it for 70 or even 60. The only downside with it really is that you can't buy it, or at least not right now. You only get it when Aldi have it. They're not forthcoming about when they have it in stock, because it's a special buy, a special purchase. The option then is to buy the OEM Shepak version of this, but that's £110. That's another sort of 30 quid, almost half as much again, and that pitches it squarely into Titan's territory. The Titan here is £100. The my out of box experience with this was not as good, not as seamless as the little Aldi. It did need some fettling. The blade needed tracking properly, and obviously the fence, as I mentioned before, is pretty woeful. But those are things that can be fixed, as you saw in the previous video, just by taking the fence off and clamping a length of timber in there. I got this cutting really nicely, and the biggest thing about this for me, apart from this a little bit more width of cut at the throat, is the table. The table is just so much better than the Aldi. It's aluminium, it's got a mitre slot and a mitre fence, which for the kind of work I do, for the kind of work I used the bandsaw for over the last 6 or 7 months, that's going to be invaluable. I think I mentioned in a previous video, I don't really use the fence that much. I tend to work freehand. I'm just cleaning up the inside corners of plunge cuts and MDF and that sort of thing, or just trimming little cross cuts to length in dowel or small section moulding, that sort of thing. I do the skinny sort of veneer type cuts when I compare these and the deeper sort of rip cut, the resaw cut, because it's of interest generally, but it's not the sort of thing I'll use the bandsaw for. I have actually bought a replacement fence for this that's on its way, and in fact the difference in price between the third-party upgrade fence and the OEM Shepak is only a few pounds more. I think it was £13.50 for the third-party fence for this, whereas the OEM Shepak version of the Aldi bandsaw here is 110. So that'll be, with the 100 for the saw and £13.50, you're only looking at £3 or £4 extra to get the upgrade fence. I might do another video on that, but not yet. When that arrives, I think I'm all sort of bandsawed out for the moment. But the Titan is definitely going to be the keeper for me for all those reasons that I've just said. Doesn't take away anything from the Aldi. It's been an absolute champ, but the Titan's the keeper for me. But it does, of course, present me with a bit of a problem, a bit of a dilemma. So yeah, of course, the problem, the dilemma, is one of disposal. What do you do with a little bandsaw that was relatively cheap, well, very cheap to start with? It's nowhere near the end of its life, of course. It's only sort of 6 or 7 months old. It still has 17 or 18 months of warranty left on it. In the last 6 months, it's done absolutely everything that I've asked of it. It had a brand new blade fitted recently. You might have seen the video. There's a link to it up there. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. It's cutting fantastically well. I paid £80 for it. It certainly doesn't owe me anything. I suppose I could put it on eBay. I might get £30 or £40 for it through that. I don't have the packaging anymore, so it would have to be a buyer collects. But you know what? the fact that it doesn't owe me anything, I've had 5 or 6 videos out of this, so it certainly doesn't owe me anything. I think I'd rather give it away. In fact, I'd like to give it away to one of you guys, one of my subscribers. So how's this going to work? Well, you need to go to my companion website, www.10minuteworkshop.com. Right there on the front page, there's a link that says Aldi Bandsaw giveaway. That'll take you to a form where you fill in your name, your YouTube username, and your email address, and hit submit, and that entry will go in. It is only for subscribers, so use a username or the email account that's associated with your YouTube account. I will be checking against the subscribers list. The other caveat is that I don't have the packaging for this anymore. It's all set up and it's running really nicely, so I don't really want to ship it. So my apologies to people who are in far-flung parts of the world, or indeed far-flung parts of Britain. You do need to be able to collect this from me in London, in W12. Sorry about that. I know that's going to restrict it to a fewer people, but there we are. It is what it is. But that's basically it. You need to be a subscriber, you need to be able to collect, and you need to be able to fill in the form and hit submit. I'll do the draw for this. Probably only be 4 people. I'll draw them out of a hat. I might do this live, actually. Might do a live draw. That'd be fun. I haven't done any live streaming before. I'll keep you posted about that. I'm not sure. Anyway, I'll do the draw for this not next week, probably the week following. So you've got a couple of weeks to catch up with the videos and to enter. And hopefully we'll have more than 2 people entering. But I think it's probably the best use for a little bandsaw like this. As I say, I could put it on eBay and maybe get sort of 40 or 50 quid for it, but I'd much rather it went to one of you guys who doesn't have a bandsaw, or who maybe just fancies a smaller desktop bandsaw to play with. And that is literally all there is to it. In fact, that's all there is to this video, really. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you've found something interesting in the conclusion to my bandsaw story. If you did, give it a thumbs up, share it freely, and don't forget you need to subscribe in order to enter the bandsaw draw. Look forward to seeing you next time. Take care.